Today, we're diving into the world of Bermuda's financial regulator. We're going to trace its journey, starting with the cybersecurity rules that are in place right now, and then looking ahead to see how it's getting ready for the next wave of tech, things like AI.
So, first things first, let's get our bearings on who we're actually talking about. This is the Bermuda Monetary Authority. You'll hear it called the BMA. It's the one single regulator for the country's entire financial services industry. But what's really key to understand is what the BMA is not. It is not a central bank, and it operates completely independently from the Bermuda government. That gives it a pretty unique and powerful position.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with the BMA's current cyber rules, the stuff that's already published. Then we'll pivot to what's coming next, with this idea of operational resilience. After that, we'll look even further into the future at digital identity and AI, and wrap it all up with the key things you need to take away from all this.
Okay, Section 1. Let's set the stage with the regulator itself, the BMA. Now for the foundation. Let's get into the BMA's cyber rules and look at what's required from businesses today, right here and now. Before we get into any of the nitty-gritty details, you have to understand this one core idea, the proportionality principle. It's everything to the BMA. It basically means the rules are not one size fits all. Instead, the requirements are tailored to fit a firm's specific nature, its scale, and how complex it is. So a small local business isn't going to face the same regulatory burden as a massive global company. This idea underpins everything else we're about to discuss. And you can see that proportional approach in action right here. Look at the consistency across the board. Insurance, banking, digital assets, they all share the same key principles. We're talking board governance, having a CISO, and that 3 lines of defense model. That's the bedrock. But then look at digital asset custody. Because it's a higher-risk area, the BMA adds very specific controls for things like hot and cold storage. It's a really smart framework, a consistent foundation with targeted rules where they're needed most. So what is this 3 lines of defense model they keep mentioning? Well, it's the required structure for how a company governs risk. The first line, that's your day-to-day operational teams, the people actually doing the work and managing the risk. The second line is your oversight crew, think risk management and compliance. And that third line, that's internal audit, giving an independent, objective view straight to the board. It's a very clear, layered system of accountability. So if we boil all that down, what do these cyber codes actually require you to do? Well, here are the big ones. The board has to sign off on the cyber risk policy. You absolutely need a designated CISO. You've got to be doing regular risk assessments and managing your third-party vendors. And this one's huge. You have to notify the BMA within 72 hours of any major cyber incident. That's not a suggestion. It's a hard and fast rule for operating in Bermuda. Okay, so you've done all that. Your data is locked down. Your defenses are up. But in the world we live in now, is just protecting your systems and data really enough? The BMA is signaling that the answer is no, and that's pushing them toward the next big evolution in their thinking. And that leads us right here. This section is all about preparing for what's next. We're shifting gears from the published rules of today to the consultation papers and ideas that are shaping tomorrow. We're going beyond just cybersecurity into this broader world of operational resilience. And this slide shows a real seismic shift in mindset. Traditional operational risk management is all about trying to avoid failure. But operational resilience starts with the assumption that failure is going to happen. So the goal changes completely. It's not about preventing a disruption. It's about being able to deliver your most critical services through that disruption. It's a move from avoid failure to operate through failure. To make this happen, the BMA is introducing a brand new concept you need to know, the Important Business Service, or IBS. Now, this isn't just any old process in your company. An IBS is a service where, if it goes down, it could cause significant harm. We're talking harm to your customers, your stakeholders, or even to the financial stability of Bermuda itself. Finding out what these are is step 1. So, once you've identified your most critical services, the next question is, how much of a hit can they take? That's where impact tolerance comes in. It's the absolute maximum level of disruption a service can handle before that unacceptable harm we just talked about starts to happen. And the key way to measure this is time, the maximum tolerable period of disruption. In simple terms, how many hours can this service be offline before it becomes a complete disaster? And this all fits into a proposed life cycle. First, firms will have to identify those important business services. Then they'll have to map out every single resource, people, processes, technology needed to make them run. From there, you set your impact tolerances, and then you test yourself against them using severe but plausible disaster scenarios. And the last step, of course, is to learn from those tests and constantly get better. It's a continuous improvement loop. Okay, so if operational resilience is what's on the immediate horizon, the BMA is also looking even further down the road. This section gives us a glimpse into their proactive agenda for the next generation of technology. You know, this timeline really tells the whole story, doesn't it? Just look at the acceleration. It starts with those foundational cyber codes back in 2020 and 2022. Then in 2024, it adapts for digital assets. But then, look at 2025. Things just explode with major consultations on operational resilience, digital identity, and a discussion paper on AI, all hitting in the same year. This shows you a regulator that's not playing catch-up. It's actively trying to get out ahead of the curve. Now, for digital identity, the BMA isn't just thinking small. It's proposing a full, tiered licensing framework. The whole point is to build a trusted digital ecosystem, which is just essential for any modern financial center. And by having different tiers of licenses, they're hoping to balance real innovation with rock-solid security.
And then we get to AI. The BMA has put out its initial thinking in a discussion paper, and the principles are just really clear and pragmatic. Accountability starts at the very top, with the board. The level of oversight has to be proportional to the risk. You're not going to regulate a simple chatbot the same way you regulate an AI model that's underwriting loans. And critically, there has to be human oversight, explainability, and fairness baked in from the very beginning.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, from today's published rules to tomorrow's big ideas. So let's bring it all home and distill what this actually means for you and your business. So when you zoom out, the big picture of the BMA's approach is crystal clear. It's risk-based and it's proportional. It's built on a consistent foundation of principles, like making sure the board is accountable. And it is absolutely forward-looking. So for businesses, the action items are pretty straightforward. First, make sure you are 100% compliant with the current cyber codes. Second, start preparing now for the operational resilience rules that are coming. And third, keep a very close eye on what's developing around digital ID and AI.
You know, I think this one quote from the AI discussion paper just sums up their entire philosophy perfectly. The BMA says its approach is outcomes-based. What that means is they're not going to tell you exactly how to build your systems or what specific tech to use, but they will hold you accountable for the results, for being secure, resilient, and fair. It's a model that gives you flexibility, but it demands responsibility.
And so that brings us to the final thought. The direction of regulation in Bermuda is clear, and the pace is picking up. The BMA is getting ready for the future. The only question left is, are you? Thanks for watching.